Oh.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday night.
Highly favored and blessed and excited.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. We got Miss Monica's back in the building. How you doing, Miss Monica?
Doing good. How you doing, Jay Real?
Oh, it's Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real.
We got Jeremy's in the building. How you doing, Jeremy?
What's going on, everybody? Good as always. How's everybody doing out there?
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real.
We got Miss McCrae's here. How you doing, Miss McCrae?
It's Tuesday.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. Micah King is in the building as well. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, indeed.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. You can follow us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. Hey, how's everybody doing out there tonight? It's Tuesday. This is your host, Jay Real. I am super duper Uber excited tonight. Uber. I'm making up words on you tonight. Yes, tonight is a great night. Tonight is actually completes a year on the air for us here at Real Family Talk. Woo! Yes. Awesome. So we're celebrating tonight. We're happy. Of course, the biggest thing happening this evening will be the election, and so we will address the election. We'll have you call in. Hopefully, you can tell us about your experience today voting. Call in, tell us who you voted for, what you hope happens, and all that good stuff. So we'll get to that as well. But yes, it's been a year. I just want to start off the show. I've already said thank you, and I can't say thank you enough. But I want to thank everybody in the building tonight that's helped me along this journey. Those that couldn't make it in the building tonight, thank you as well for helping me along this journey. And thank the audience, man. I hope y'all have enjoyed what we've done over the last year, and enjoy what we can hope to continue to do, or will continue to do, as we move along into the next year and the next year and the next year and so forth. So I just want to send a thank you to all the listeners. Thank you to everybody that's in the building with me tonight. And, let's get going with the show. In the building, as always, I got Mr. Micah King. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great indeed. Happy for this 1 year anniversary. Happy for everybody that went out and voted. I'm doing great.
We'll get on that one in a second, bro. Mr. McCrae's in the building. How you doing tonight, Ms. McCrae?
It's Tuesday. What's happening? I'm blessed to be here. Happy 1 year and many more for the show.
Oh, appreciate it. Miss Monica's in the building. How you doing, Miss Monica?
Good. How you doing, Jay Real?
I told you, I'm super duper excited tonight.
Super fabulistic. Makes me
Exactly.
Happy anniversary.
Appreciate it. We got Jeremy's in the building. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing great. I'm great. Excited about the 1 year anniversary. Excited for the opportunity. You know, my big brother let me put the promotional track together and the new intro and outro.
Good job.
So, that is my big brother. So that's why you see my Twitter hashtag is younger brother, because he kind of filtered us in this little production thing, I guess you would say. So, I had the track I was working on at the house, and he walked in. He said, "Hey, man, we can use that." So we kind of cut the voices up and put them in, and I think it turned out good.
I think so.
Appreciate it. That's right. That's AKA younger brother, as he said on the production on that new version of the Real Family Talk intro. I got one more person in the building, a man that hasn't been in the building in months. He's a busy man, though. I got it. But Rainy B is back in the building. How you doing, Rainy B?
Well, I'm blessed.
Awesome. So before we get started, the other reason why, I want Rainy B to be here all the time, but the other reason I brought Rainy B in the building tonight, I asked him to come down, and before we get kind of going and talking, I asked him to come down and bless the show for us. And so just real quick, we're going to take a moment out so Rainy B can bless the show. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, Heavenly Father and gracious, we just bless you, honor you, we adore you. We thank you for J Real. We thank you for the show. We thank you for his team, Lord God, in the name of Jesus Christ. We thank you that you gave him this opportunity to be on WOKB 1680, Lord God. And I just know you're going to do great things. And we speak, decree, and declare that this is about to rise and go much greater, Lord God, across the United States. So we just bless you for 1 full year, looking forward to the Spirit moving for many and many more years. And I'm just so happy to be a friend and be a part of all of this. In Jesus' name.
Jesus' name.
Amen.
Appreciate it, brother.
Amen.
All right. So, real quick, before we get into the election stuff, the Steelers won, Mr. King, once again. The Steelers are on a 3-game winning streak, brother.
I will give this was their first credible win. I can give that to them. I can give them credit. They beat the Giants, and they did it in a good fashion. I definitely give them respect for this win because the Giants are a fourth-quarter comeback team, and they did not do that against the Steelers. So I take my hat off for those Steelers. I congratulate them, and they did a great job.
All right. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Finally, a good comment about the Steelers from Mr. King. Shout out to all them Steelers fans.
I've been like the black coach and Max Starks. That's about it.
Max.
You're Florida homeboy, huh? But
got to represent.
Got to. So the Steelers won. So another happy weekend for all the Steelers fans. Yeah, the Magic is 2-0, and the game is on. I know they got another game tonight. We'll see how that turns out.
Bulls.
I'm playing the Bulls tonight. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so they must be losing based on some text I've been seeing.
Shout out to them Laker fans that they finally won a game.
Lakers. Yeah, they'll get it together. It's only 4 games into the season approximately, so we'll see what happens. But to the election, a lot of things happening. The numbers are coming in. What's the count right now on the Electoral College right now? What's the count, somebody?
153 Romney, 114 Obama.
153, 114 for Obama.
And Florida is close.
Florida's really close. Florida's really close.
Very close.
And the numbers are coming out how I want to see them come out. I don't know how anybody else in the building, but that's the numbers I want to see. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Give us a call. Tell us how we've been doing over the year. If you've enjoyed what we've been doing, call us. Tell us what your experiences at the voting booth today. Were the lines long? From what I've understood, I was listening to the radio on my way in, and I heard over in Pine Hills not too long ago, maybe half hour, 45 minutes ago, there was still people outside the voting booth.
Yeah.
I mean, outside the polling station, still waiting in line to vote, even over in Lake Nona. In that particular area and in the UCF area as well, they were still waiting to vote. So people are out this year, man. People are out to express their opinion on what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's why sometimes I be questioning some of these results. Like this thing to my 74% of Florida is in. Now, if they waiting in line in Pine Hills, probably mostly everywhere else in the state they still waiting.
Right.
So I just don't know how accurate it is that 74% has actually been tallied up and counted.
Yeah, I know that at least they were talking about in Miami that people waited like work shifts, like 6 to 8 hours in line just to vote. So I know there's probably plenty of people still waiting to cast their vote out.
In one report on CNN, 700 absentee ballots were thrown out because they were missing signatures in Hillsborough County. That's crazy.
That's a lot of votes.
I mean, for either way, that's 700.
That is a lot of votes.
Hey, cross y'all T's and dot y'all I's, y'all, please.
You do have to do that. 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. So what are the numbers in Florida for the presidency right now?
Right now, well, with 74% in, what young brother was talking about, we have 50% for the president, 49% for Mr. Romney. Actually, it just flipped as I'm talking. Now it's 50-50.
Awesome. That, as long as it's 50-50.
And the
As
president,
long as it's 50-50.
the president just jumped to 128, and Romney still 153.
As long as it's 50-50. Has Ohio been called yet? What about Ohio?
No,
Wow.
right now it's 55% in favor of the president with only 29% in. So it's still early.
Still early.
It's
Still early.
too
on,
early.
on those couple of battleground states right
Yes.
there. 407-894-1680. Give us a call. Tell us what you're thinking about the election this evening. Speaking of voting, now I think everybody in the on my side of the studio, I'll say, placed a vote at some point, whether it was in early voting or whether you went to vote today. What about on the other side of the window over there, brother? Mr. King, did you vote today, mother?
Now, see what had happened was.
Wait. See, I was quiet the whole time until I heard see what you happened.
You know what?
Wait a minute.
No. See what had happened was they didn't send me the ballot in the mail. They had the wrong address because I had moved from Atlanta, and now that I'm in Florida, they don't have the right address, and they sending my stuff to Atlanta. And they just told me today.
Really?
They just told you, huh?
Is they texting you right now?
Yeah, that's what that's exactly.
It's your turn to
Why
vote.
are you
Go
over here
vote.
lying?
Saying we still open when you come on down.
Get a plane ticket.
I can't believe you.
What in the world?
Things they try to do to try to get they try not to get a brother to vote. You know, that's how they do me. That's
Really?
It's hard times. It's hard times. But in spirit, I'm there with Jill. You know me, Jill know I was voting for her. I was not voting for the red nor the blue. I'm voting green.
Yes.
So it really doesn't matter.
Really too much.
Yeah, Jill Stein.
Jill Stein.
Jill Stein.
Jill Stein, the Green Party
I'm
candidate.
Green Party, yes. All the way.
Go
all
green,
day.
right?
That's why they lost your ticket. Your stuff.
And that's what it was. Because they went on my Facebook and saw that I wasn't voting for neither one of these two people. So, I mean, why we need to send him anything? And that's how they do it. They don't want you to vote against what they want you to do. That's why you don't see Green, you don't see none of them on television. And they know that television is one of the main things that people go off of. You know, television is a brainwashing tool, in my opinion. Whatever you see on television is what you want to eat, what you want to listen to, and what you want to watch, and of course, who you want to vote for. If you don't see the Green Party or nobody else besides the red and the blue on television, you ain't even gonna know they exist.
Nah, but that that comes into, it goes back to the what everybody should be doing, which is educating themselves.
But they're not doing that.
But again, is that the people who have money's fault that people don't educate themselves?
Yes.
No, because even for the big money candidates like President Obama and Governor Mitt Romney, even for them, people aren't even, as much as they're on television and as many ads as you see either for or against them, people aren't even educating themselves beyond what they saw in the commercial.
And that's sad.
So they're not even educating themselves about even the popular candidates, let alone researching and going to the internet and searching out the candidates that you never even heard of until you got your ballot. So you mean that's a bigger problem of people just not educating themselves. It has nothing to do with big time money and all that stuff.
It has nothing to do with it, but it still ties into it because if I don't see you on television, then I don't even know who you are. So it's not my fault that, yeah, you're right. If they're not educating themselves, I understand. But at the same time, you wouldn't even let these people at the debates because they didn't have no money. That's just not fair, you know? That's just my opinion, and I'm just one man.
I got you 1.5. I'm about to throw mines in there, but I truly believe what he's saying because the system is set up just like he says. You're not going to get that type of. They need exposure. And how our system is set up is, listen, I'm a Democratic Party. We going to pick what we want. We're the Republican Party. We going to pick what we want. And we're not looking at anybody on the left or the right, green or purple. We just want, who's in our party or who's in our system. And we so messed up that we believe that elephant donkey type thing. That red and blue. No, and that's why the country is so split down the middle because the system has split us. It's the rich or the poor. It's this or that. No, man. It shouldn't even be about a color or a donkey or elephant. It should be about the best candidate.
Right.
Ron Paul. And it's just a mess. I agree. They don't put the best candidate.
But see, you got to understand who runs it. Because if you look at who runs the debates, The guy who is a Republican and the guy who is a Democrat are the two head men that's over the debate committee, and they let the people who they want to be in the debates. They don't want anybody else. They have I forgot what it's called exactly, that's written out the rules and the questions that you can ask these two people that's running for president. And these two people that are running for president also say who all can be in the debates. Now, they don't want anybody else in the debate. They put that in there saying, we don't want such and such, and we don't want such and such. I just want him, and I just want him. And that's who's at the debates. But, since I need to educate myself, it's my fault that I don't know who else is running for the debates.
It is.
That's how
it
you
is your
wanna
fault.
see it, but
It is your fault because, like I said, is the system flawed? Is the system designed to make you go red or blue? Yes, it is. It's very flawed. It's designed to make you go red or blue. But whose fault is that? It's the people's fault, because the people, for the most part, the people are lazy. The people aren't going to go and spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever the case may be, to really research who is on the ballot, what they actually stand for, what their voting record has been. Most people aren't going to spend that kind of time because, for the most part, most people are very apathetic about the whole political process in the first place. So for the most part, they're so apathetical. They say, it really doesn't matter anyway. I'm gonna just go with the party line or whatever the case may be, or I'm not gonna vote, or I'm gonna vote Green Party just out of protest, or whatever your decision is. But is that the people's fault? Yes, that's the people's fault, because people are supposed to educate themselves. That is the whole point of the democratic process. Educate yourself for who's out there, and then go out and vote for the best candidate.
But
yes, ma'am. What you want to say?
They
Ms.
just
McCray?
called Pennsylvania for President Obama.
Okay. What was the
quick
percentage?
Update. 68-31.
68-31 in Pennsylvania, huh?
Yep.
That's quite a large margin. Okay, well, that's all right. Well, that's one battleground state down.
It's a long night, though.
One battleground state down. So we'll see what happens in the rest of these battleground states. But
early.
But yeah, so that's the people's fault, man. We got to educate ourselves. We've been talking about that a lot here on the program. Educating ourselves. When we develop an agenda and then really follow that agenda and support that agenda, put money behind money. That's the most important part. Put money behind that agenda, and then drive that agenda with that money, because that's what it takes. It takes money, regardless of like it and don't like it. It takes money. Either it takes money or 100 million people, whichever one you can get first. But yeah, you can make that the agenda, then we can change this process. Then we can, move in a Green Party candidate, and forego the Democratic or Republican choice. So until that happens, this is where we are. We'll be stuck here, and things will continue to be the way that they are. Whoa, we got Brother Jimmy Shine in the building. Jimmy Shine, what's going on, brother?
Shine.
What's going on, guys?
You're doing all right, man. What's going on with you?
Well, Brother J. Real and the crew, here we are, election night.
Here we
are. And so far, you got Sheriff Jerry Demings, who has popped out there and already claimed victory.
Wow.
And so he's going to be here another couple of years. Sheriff Jerry Demings, congratulations to him. But other than that, it looks like neck and redneck. It's what they're doing on the national scene, you see. Obama and Romney fighting it out to the very end. So far, California hasn't reported. So far, Florida hasn't reported in. But they're fighting it out. They're fighting it out. And, whoever wins, wins. I don't have a horse in this race, as you well know.
Right, I know. You didn't vote, right, brother?
I did not vote. No, I will not. I did not. I will not give this lousy Congress another chance to mess up again. Congress has the lowest ratings of any Congress ever in history. They have the lowest ratings. They have messed up and screwed us over so badly that people just are not going to give them another opportunity. My mentality is this. When you vote, you give these screw-ups another chance to mess up again. And I'm just not going to participate.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
you still live here.
Your shine just got dimmed.
Regardless of whether you give them that opportunity or not, you got to deal with whatever decision they make.
And I understand that. Not everybody thinks like I do. God knows nobody thinks like I do.
I do, Brother Shine. Trust me. I think just like you do.
I just cannot do the same thing. It's insanity to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. The result is going to be the same. Those people, they may start out headstrong, knowing what they want to do, but then they go to Washington. And when they go to Washington, it seems like when they come back, they are completely different people. It's like, hey, whatever happened to... Oh, we completely abandoned that. You know, there were other things that came up, and we had to assert ourselves to that.
But on that point, which you're right, that does happen from time to time. But to that point, that is the responsibility of us as voters to make sure that when we sent you to D.C., when we sent you to Tallahassee, you told us you were going to do A, and then you got there and then you did E, F, and G. Then it's our responsibility the next time that you come up to say, well, you didn't, the last time you went up there, you did a whole nother thing. So this time I'm not voting for you. I'm going to send the next man. And then, you know, it becomes that game. Will the next man do it? Maybe he will, maybe he not. He won't. But then when it comes time up again, you put in the next man. And that's our responsibility as voters to check these individuals to verify that when they told us they were going to present one agenda, that they actually followed through on that agenda. And if they didn't, next time, vote them out. I don't care if they were Democratic the first time or if they were Republican or whatever the case they may be. It's our responsibility to vote them out and just stop sending the same people up to Washington with the same name because we knew their name.
To hold them accountable.
Exactly. We got to hold them accountable.
To make them do what they say they were going to do. But I just find that, you know...
That's why we need you, Brother Jimmy Stein. That's why we need you voting, man, because...
We need you to vote.
Yes.
Somebody got to hold them accountable, brother.
30 years of voting for politicians. When I was a younger man, actually going out there campaigning for them, knocking on doors and stuff.
So you believed in the process at one point in your life, Jimmy.
I was headstrong into it. I love politics. It's just... I've been disappointed so many times, and my heart has been broken so many times. It's just that now I just don't even have the energy anymore. I just don't have the energy to follow up on it. I watch the election results on election night. I get excited, especially when I see close elections like this. But I just, after years of seeing this situation happen over and over again, our very own politicians in this town, they don't call you unless they voting. They running for office. They running for office, you're gonna get that phone call. But if they're not running for office, you don't hear nothing from them. When you call their office, they may or may not call you back. And it's just been that kind of cat and mouse game for the better part of 30 years for me. And I'm pretty much done with it by now. And I know that's optimistic, makes you feel good. But that's just my line of thinking. I'm just an old guy. I'm just an old ticked off guy now.
Is that right?
I'm just an old guy ticked off. And so I'm like Clint Eastwood. You ever see Clint Eastwood movies now? His last 3 movies are all the same. He's an old, ticked-off white man. mad at everybody, mad at the world and everybody in it, especially minorities. That's what I'm like. I'm like Clint Eastwood now.
You're doing speeches with empty chairs next to you now.
I'm talking to an empty chair.
Hey, we appreciate you, Jimmy Shine,
man.
We'll
be in touch, guys.
I appreciate it.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680 is the number. Give us a call. Like I said, give us a call. Tell us what you're thinking about the election tonight. If you want to, call and tell us who you voted for. It's 1680. I have a good feeling about who you voted for, but I could be wrong. Give me a call. Tell us who you voted for. Give us a call. Tell us what you think of the show that we've been doing here for the last year. We appreciate that too.
I'd like to make a comment about your show, man. I think you're doing an awesome job. I was listening to y'all while even I left the show to do some night work, man, and y'all just keep everybody in tune on what's going on, informed. So I just think this is a blessing to have this show on this air. I also wanted to make a comment. I was over in Pine Hills actually voting today, man. I went in at 8 o'clock, didn't get out till like 11:30.
Wow.
I was upset. They only had 2 people in there checking our IDs, man.
Wow.
That was it. The line was so long. It was raining. I was upset. They had the elderly out there. They didn't have no chairs, man. It was just drama. But I read also that the Panthers was out today, too.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Yeah. Jerry Jackson was out there in full uniform, panthered out at the door, man.
Here's the kicker. This year, he's an approved official over there now. So, like, he is an approved person to be at the polling station this year.
But in Panther uniform, though.
In Panther uniform.
Really?
In Panther uniform.
I missed that.
In Panther uniform.
Yeah.
In Panther uniform. He is an approved voting official this year in Panther uniform. The same man who got cited for intimidation last year. Cited for intimidation last year. The only reason why he didn't get convicted is because Eric Holder stepped in and said, for whatever reason, I don't remember Eric Holder's particular reasoning for pardoning him or basically dropping the charges, I guess you could say, against him. But the same man who was out in a polling station last year, or 2008 anyway, with a baton.
Come on.
With a baton. Okay, in 2008, in front of the polling stations with a baton. Like I said, Eric Holder dropped the charges on him. But this year, he is now a voting official with his Panther uniform.
But he didn't have the baton,
he did not have the baton.
But he had the pen, right? And he was just hitting swinging the pen.
Wow.
The other one that got me was there was a voting office that had a picture of Obama staring at the voters.
Right.
As they were voting, man.
Really?
Yeah, it's like they had this big, huge picture of Obama. And as you vote, he's just staring at you.
You better do it.
How do you do that?
You better do it. You better vote for me.
The eyes was following you and everything.
Yes.
Voter intimidation.
Nah, I think that's voter encouragement.
Encouragement.
Oh, boy.
I mean, and just to update, Florida is still neck and neck, and they're saying people are still in line.
That's right, man.
This might go for a while.
They need to rephrase that. People are still in line in certain neighborhoods. Because when I drove over in certain neighborhoods, they wasn't in line.
Yeah, it's not every neighborhood. But like I said, about 45 minutes ago, they said it was out in UCF, still lines out the door, still in UCF, Lake Nona, same thing. Okay. And then, like I said, even over here in Pine Hills, they were saying there were still lines out the door, not just people inside, people still outside waiting to get in type of thing. So
that's crazy.
And maybe they might be done because that was, like I said, maybe 45, almost an hour ago now that I heard that. But
so do they continue to let them vote even though the time whoever's in line they follow that
in line?
Yeah.
I think it also depends on your state because sometimes in certain states if the poll closes at 7 you're there and you're still in line, they're going to allow you to vote, but then your vote becomes provisional in some states. But I believe here in Florida, they decided that if you were in line, that vote was going to count, I believe is what the final decision was here. But I know in other states that vote becomes provisional, and then it is counted later. So it just kind of depends on your state.
But
and
later when?
After all the other votes are counted.
Right.
After they
kind of trickle down until as the week moves along.
The provisional votes in Ohio, that's why they was so sketchy with that. It could take 10 days.
Right. It depends on the state. Every state has a little bit different rules.
See, but that's what I'm saying. 10 days.
10 days.
So tomorrow, when whoever's elected, 10 days later, oh, by the way, we count. Your votes count right now, but it wouldn't have mattered no way. I mean, what does that mean?
It means the Electoral College is the only thing that matters, but
exactly. Read, y'all better read.
That's what it
Now,
means.
y'all want to get some amendments started? Let's get the popular vote counted.
Speaking of the amendments, I was looking at it earlier. Can you find any information on that? I was looking at something earlier that here in Florida, Amendment 1 looked like. I know they were in the upper 50s when I looked at it earlier as far as percentage of people saying yes. And I believe you need a 60% vote or a 60% turnout in order for it to pass, if I'm not mistaken. Where are we at on those amendments? I know there was a lot of, we had a heated discussion last week as it relates to the amendments, especially one as it was described to us last week by Tez Figaro. Basically was more like a survey to say whether or not you support the idea of Florida moving ahead with its mandate to stop the Obama law being implemented, Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act. Thank you, Ms. McCrae.
Thank you.
For being implemented in the state of Florida. So I was really curious about that one. I don't mind saying it. Everybody knows how I feel about the Affordable Health Care Act. If you listen to the show at all, that was definitely when I put my big yes. Let's support Amendment 1 and prevent its implementation, hopefully, within the state here. I would certainly like to see that happen. But so yeah, find that out for me. 407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. Now, I believe you voted early, right, Miss Monica?
I did. I waited in line for 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours?
Yes.
When did you go? Did you?
I went on Saturday, which was
this
probably
past Saturday.
which is probably one of the worst days to go, but it was the only time I could go. So I stuck in there. 2.5 hours.
Where were you in the Orlando area?
Southwest Orlando.
Southwest Orlando. 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and that was at the second place because I went to another place and they were halfway back towards the other street down the road. So I drove past that one and went to another one, which was shorter, but I can imagine how long I would have stayed if I went to the original place.
Wow. See, my voting early experience wasn't too bad. I was only in line. I was in and out within 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
In and out within 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so.
I was in and out within about 45 minutes. So I went actually it was the day of Sold to the Polls. I didn't necessarily participate in it, but right after church, I said, let's go. Let's beat the Sold to the Polls there. See, if I beat them there, I will be all right. But I knew they were coming. So let me get in line now. So.
Souls to the polls. Souls to the polls.
Yes, it looks like for the amendments, they look to be passing.
Oh, okay. So what's the percentage right now? What are they?
For Amendment 1, 51%.
No, we need 60. They got to get to 60.
Yeah, but it's still they're still counting.
Oh, okay. But we're at 51.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's pretty close.
51, 63 for Amendment 2.
So Amendment 2 is looking pretty good.
58% for 3, 58% for 4, 63 for 5, 55 for 6, 56 for 8, 62 for 9, 55 for 10, 61 for 11, and 12 is 59. And looks like the Supreme Court judges, they look to be at all 67%.
Okay,
yes.
so all three of them look to be staying.
All three.
We're going to have to worry about Governor Rick Scott appointing anybody new.
Right.
Lord Jesus. We could agree on something up in here.
Something.
Everybody split on that.
Not at all.
That's green.
That's good. Yeah. So wow, all of the amendments are at least polling very well. Anyway, right now.
Yeah.
They are polling very well. I know they're going to be a lot of disappointed individuals in the city. I know, especially a lot of the Democratic candidates. They were telling I don't know they were telling a lot of the community, just vote no straight down.
Yeah.
Don't even read it. Just vote no.
And you know what? I was actually a little disappointed because I ran into some paperwork that some ladies were reading before they got ready to vote. And it almost was just, it didn't even explain the amendment. It just said Amendment 1, no. Amendment whatever, no. And it just had a list of them. It just kept telling you no, no, no. Yeah. And I'm like, you're not even explaining what no means. Or what yes means. You're just telling them to vote no, and they don't care. They're like, okay, we vote no, 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 no. That's what we're going to do.
You know how they get you too on that paperwork? It said the Democratic Party votes no on one, no on two.
Yeah, they don't even know what it is. I mean, it doesn't help that it's so many pages either, because it was a lot for a ballot. But
right, which is why, again, going back to something Mr. King had brought up, you gotta do your homework. Mm-hmm. You gotta do your homework, man, because like you said, those amendments, some of them were like almost 20, 25 lines, 25 lines long that you'd have to read and then decipher the language that some lawyer put together. In a back room.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Very
in a
legal.
back dark
Very
room.
legal.
So how do we phrase this? Well, you gotta highlight the fact that it's gonna help veterans and highlight the fact that old people are gonna benefit
put
from
the
this.
financial impact on the bottom.
So you gotta, like we say, it's all about going and doing your homework, man. And which is, all of the voter ID laws and all of this stuff, the voter suppression and all of that stuff. It's all about homework. When you do your homework, you can't get confused. You know what I mean? I don't care what they say. You can get a phone call. People be calling you, the voting has been changed to Wednesday. But when you did your homework, you already know, like, man, this somebody lying to me on the phone. Like, you don't question it.
Jay, be real. How many of us are really doing homework, man?
That's our fault. Like I
That's been the black community. Come on, man. Some of us are only going to go out a little bit and look for those signs and look for that type of homework. But most of us are not going to do that. Some people are going to say, I'm too busy. And then some of us just don't want to look for it.
Most of us got bills and kids and other things going on in life to be worried about doing homework on this right here. Some of us got midterms and other homework and other studying that we got to do than to be doing homework on this right here. It's like, it's really a system set up just for them to create an illusion, to put this in your face, to make you believe this, that, and the third when it's not really true. And that's, that's in the words of your boy, that's just malarkey. That's just malarkey.
Malarkey.
And think about it. One of those amendments took up almost a whole line.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a serious whole line.
Yeah.
Man. And had terminology in there like you'd be like, okay, it's been 15 years since I've been in school. Some of them people.
I mean, even I was reading, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
This is too much. This is really.
Some of them, they should have had
They really went too hard
They
on this
should have had
one.
that 1 through 5, agree, disagree, and neutral on or something. I wasn't getting it.
407-894-1680. 407-894-1680 is the number. Where are we at on the presidential election? Any other local elections?
That's
been
what I'm
called
looking
to?
at now. I'm looking at some local. Looks like Randolph Bracey.
Well, we know Randolph Bracey and Bruce Antone, they have won from the primary because basically they ran unopposed.
I'm looking for. It's a lot of stuff.
Hey, Fox News just popped up. Barack 153, Mitt Romney 153.
Wow.
On Fox News.
Well, then I have HuffPost. It's 158. Obama 154. So I don't know which one is.
Everybody
I
gets
have
accurate,
NBC at
but
158 too.
Yeah.
All
right.
See, that's the other thing too.
Yeah,
Where's
nobody
the
knows what's
information
going
coming?
on.
I'm gonna send my text then. 270. Guess who? Like, why has everybody got different numbers? That don't make no sense.
That's true. We all on the same internet.
It's how they play the game, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's how they play the game.
Trying to get some people out of line. That's what that is.
And
He done already won. I
and
go
then,
home.
and then too, some of the networks are a little bit more. We'll call them bold. to make a prediction on something, whereas another network might say, well, we'll just hold back, and we'll see. But a lot of times what they do is they'll wait to some of them, they'll wait to kind of see, well, what did MSNBC say? Yeah. What did CNN say? Yeah. What did Fox News say? Okay, well, if all three of them agree, well, all right, we gonna go with that.
Go with yeah, and like, I'm sure they got they statisticians, however you say that, working hard. Trying to calculate, if he's up 68 to 54 and it's only 25% left, statistically, this other person can't win, so we go give it to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So. Exactly. It's this for, especially when you're talking about your major news networks, this is definitely one of the biggest days of their year. And they probably have a staff of 100 to 200, maybe even 500 people, sitting in behind closed doors and dark rooms, all kind of statisticians and little research boys and girls and, all that little stuff, behind the scenes. This when they pull out the fancy little trick.
Yes.
I remember last year during in the 2008 election, that's when CNN pulled out their little hologram. We can do hologram. Yeah. Let's go to the hologram interview. Like, holograms? Holograms?
I'm not crazy. I was watching ABC before I left the house, and they had all late with just for show. The people they showed on TV inside the studio, everybody lined up with their laptops with different jobs. Some people they say was looking, keeping track of voter irregularities, and like they said, they new electronic thing where they had the picture of the country and have it was go what states were turning red and blue, so you can kind of keep up like that kind of way. So.
Yeah, man. This
pull all the stops out.
Big time news.
In
man.
New York,
it's the Super Bowl for politics.
It is. Yeah. It is. In New York, they have the ice rink at Rockefeller Center, shaped as the country. Yeah, and they just color in different spots. Oh, wow. Red or blue. I thought that was cute. That's my little.
That's your little 2 cents.
Yeah, that's my little 2 cents.
407-894-1680. 407-894-1680. What are y'all thinking out there? Is everybody so glued to the TV they're not listening to the radio tonight?
Pace
What's going
to
on?
it, man.
Yeah.
Pace to it. But I do have a question for your panel, if you don't mind. I know some of y'all are saying when, but if Obama gets back in, right? What do you think's going to happen? Because normally when someone gets in their second term, that's when the bull is let loose.
Well, I'm going to say this. I have no idea. But not my will, but God's will be done. And I'm going to live with that. And that's the only way I can answer that, to be honest with you, because, it's nice to say, okay, he said he's going to come back and do this, what he was started to do, but you never know what's going to happen. We don't really know what's going to happen. Anything could happen, you still have terrorist activities out there. Anything can happen. So things can be diverted as they usually get done. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can only have hopes, hoping that he does serve the black community more than he has, and he's done, will do some things that he hasn't done that we're, expecting and wanting to happen. But you never know what, it's not just him. When we elect him, it's all the people behind him. And so we don't know what they have up their sleeve and what their agendas are. So we just have to see and pray about it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen, because if you look at the scope of things, even if he wins, it pretty much seems like the Congress is pretty much going to be in the same place it was previously, so that the Senate is still going to be controlled by Democrats and the House is still going to be controlled by Republicans. And so I don't really see there being a huge difference in what we've seen in the last two years, because he clearly has an agenda that he's trying to set forth, and the Republicans clearly have an agenda that they're trying to set forth, and pretty much if things continue the way they are, everybody's pretty much drawing their line in the sand, and I'm not sure that he is going to be willing to make that first move. You know what I mean? Because as the leader, I think he has to make the first move. Yeah. But I don't see him backing down to say I have to make the first move. I see him standing forward and then saying, well, you see, y'all put him in and y'all didn't change things, and here we go again. You know, which I think is unfortunate, because I think the leader, even in that situation, the leader has to be the one to, and I don't even consider it conceding, but you got to be the one to at least say, all right, let me sit down and just have a conversation and see where we can find some middle ground. Not, well, they're saying this and I'm saying that, and so they won't let me do it, and so I'll just write this executive order instead, which is what he's kind of been doing the last few months. Yes. You know, I'm just going to write this executive order, and then, you know, and then it'll get done, you know, that particular way. So that's how I see it if he wins again. And quite frankly, if Mitt Romney were to win, again, we're going to have the same thing, House controlled by the Republicans, the Senate controlled by the Democrats. And so there's still going to be that stalemate. I think the biggest difference is if Mitt Romney at least holds true on his word, you know, the biggest difference is, and from his word, if you will, which I know a lot of people say you can take that with a grain of salt, and I'll leave that to you know, your interpretation. But if you look at his word, he says he's going to sit down at that table and listen. He's going to make that first move, and so we'll just have to see where this all ends up. But that's my 2 cents on that one. Mr. McCray, you got a comment? Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm glued to.
Mr. Cray is glued to the
social media, to the stats. I'm reading too much. I'm sorry.
407-894-1680. I got another question for you all, too. You know, obviously race has been a big factor, or at least supposedly it's supposed to be a huge factor.
Supposed to be?
Supposed to be.
Okay.
A huge factor in the race and how people are voting. What do you guys think about that? I've gone on record. You know, I've said it. Yes, we already know that there's a lot of people that don't like black people, that don't like the president because he's black. And, you know, certainly they're probably going to go out and vote for him, or vote against him, I'm sorry, due to the fact that he's black. But is that going to make the election? You know, I doubt. I don't believe that it will. I think it's a small majority when you compare it to the larger masses of people voting. So it exists, but I don't think it's going to make a significant difference one way or another. That's my opinion on it.
You know, it's okay. We have a call.
Hi, how you doing tonight, Geraldine?
I'm fine, and you? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, Geraldine.
All right. I was listening to what you all were saying, and I did my homework on a lot of the amendments and everything.
Excellent.
And I looked at a lot of it, did some work, talked to some people, tried to understand a lot what was going on. But let me tell you something. A lot of those things, when you read it, sometimes they can have one word out of content, which makes that whole amendment totally wrong. You know, and just like I said, a lot of it, you know, being a Democrat, we did have a lot of information stating to say no. But my thing is, I wanted to read it all. And also on top of that, I looked at the Republican convention. I listened to the Democratic convention. I listened to each time they had the polls and everything with the president. It was so much information, but it was so much that I saw wrong. Because I wanted to go in this election not knowing, but just making sure I was making the right decision. It made me question when I heard Romney was talking about the war. You know, that's a big problem we're going to have. If you get someone who's not knowledgeable of what's going on in that war, we're going to be in problems. You know, this is almost the end of the war coming. When you get someone who does not know what they're doing, and there's so many things that I heard him say that I listened and felt that he really just did not know as much about the war as he should, what our comeback and everything is. And if we don't deal with this, that means we're going to be in another war. And if you don't take care of, one thing about I know they say that the president is a lot of things he's not doing. Now, he dealt with a lot of problems. He fought with a lot of problems. You know, I would say everything was really mixed up. And I'm not saying that he was the best and he did everything right, but one thing about it, you gotta remember, that's a lot of stuff to clear it up. He was in a mess when he got in that water. You look at his hair. You can tell that man has been stressed out a lot. You know, everybody that's gray that quickly at that younger age. So let me tell you something. He has more gray in his head than I do, and I'm a lot older than him. So that tells me right there, the gray hair tells a lot about the stress he was under. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, the only thing I can say, I pray, because I say God is going to have the last word. It's not what that poll say or what we thinking, because sometimes God can change the whole thing around. And that's why I've been praying. I said, Lord, let thy will be done. Not my will, but thy will. Because we need some help, because there's so much going on right now. I really don't know. And I said, you know, I'm reading Revelation. I'm seeing a lot of things that are happening in Revelation. We're getting into some serious problems right now. And we need to stay on our knees, and we need to pray and ask God to show us how to deal with life. Because life is not a straight road anyway. You got to pray, and you got to ask God to show you, because sometimes you may have to dodge the corner to survive. And I just believe He has to guide us. It's not our will. It's His will needs to be done. And so only thing I can say, I pray that God will direct our pathway and whatever He did. But the only thing I have to say about Romney does not know enough about the war to be irresponsible for that. You know,
I appreciate that.
One thing I did like what our president said, even when things happened with Clinton, he said, I am the president. No matter what happened, I am responsible. He didn't go behind her and say, well, this happened, that happened. No, he said, I am the president. I appointed these people. So therefore, whatever happens, I'm responsible. And I respect that.
All right. I thank you for those comments, Geraldine. We appreciate you listening. Yeah, you know, the thing about, I hear Geraldine's point about the war, but I kind of discount it, because in 2008, the same thing could have been said about President Obama. And so, you know, you have to give people a pass. If you haven't been at the table, you haven't been at the table. And that's neither here nor there. President Obama was in the same situation back in 2008, and certainly that didn't deter people from voting from him. And so, you know, I kind of, you know, I hear you, Geraldine, and I appreciate the comment, but 4 years ago, the president was the same situation, and nobody didn't vote for him per se, because he didn't have knowledge about the war, you know, which he wouldn't have had, because he wasn't he won the Senate seat, but he wasn't there long enough to find out anything. And so you know, if you're not there, you can't have that information. It's just one of those facts of life, I guess. 407-894-1680. Yes, sir.
But he also has a passive process in dealing with those type of affairs. He feels like, you know, unless we ask to go in to help a country, unless we are told, you know, we need your support, then we'll go over. But other than that, we're not going to take the lead. One thing about Romney's like, listen, we're the United States. We're supposed to take the lead on those things. And that's the difference with Romney and Obama. Obama's just passive. Unless a country asks us, or unless the United Nations come to us, then we'll look at it, put it on the table, and we'll negotiate this thing. And Romney's like, nah, we're the United States. We're the powerhouse. We're gonna step in, and we're gonna sit at the table, and we're gonna let people know. You know what a problem I have is everybody says, well, he inherit all these problems, and he inherit, you know, that man went out there and said, I can get the job done. I can do it. Hey, vote for me. This is who I am. I want the job. You don't inherit as a president. You go out there and campaign. It's a difference.
No,
I want this job. I can get it done.
You want the job, but you step into some mess.
You inherit money. You inherit maybe some diseases, but you don't inherit. He went for the job. It's just like he put the resume in, and y'all said, yeah, we want this guy.
Right. But you step into the position, and the position already carries a whole lot of weight. Even President Clinton said that any president that came in under the predicament we were in as a country
Come on now, that was a campaign.
That was a campaign, but really, but if you look at what this man brought us almost from the brink of another depression.
That was a campaign speech.
So what do you think? There was a whole baggage of stuff.
If a Republican was in office,
discount that statement.
You would have had a whole other comment.
You could discount that statement, but the fact is, he walked into mess that he had to then stabilize before you can build.
But to his point, well, one, it's not the first time that it's happened. True. That's number one, and then two, it's I think his main point is when you campaign for this job, you already knew that there was going to be some problems, and then you made certain statements, certain promises, and then so it's not crazy that people come back and 4 years later say, well, you said this, you said this, you said this. You didn't do this, this, and this, and so we have a problem with you. And then you can't not also come back. One of the things I have my biggest issue with the way the president's been campaigning is it's like, oh, well, it's Bush did this and it was Bush that, and it was like, man, it's 4 years later. I almost forgot.
Any other candidate does the same thing, just like you said.
I don't want to hear from
just like
either.
You just said. Any other candidate will do the same.
I don't want to hear that though. That's all, my only point is I don't want to hear that though.
Tell me what you're gonna do. Just tell me what you're gonna do. His whole campaign is move forward. So if you're talking about move forward, why are you still talking about Bush? That's his whole campaign right now. Forward. So I don't want to hear about what Bush did. Let's move forward. What you gonna do?
Let's talk about what Obama's gonna do. Even the other day,
the win.
Hopefully not. Even the other day, the both candidates did an op-ed piece in CNN.com where they talked about. I can't remember the exact name right now, but something to the effect of my piece of America, or anyway, the point of the op-ed pieces that each did was they wanted to describe what their America would be, and one of the things that kind of struck me about the president's op-ed piece is he spent more time kind of breaking down what he thought was wrong about Mitt Romney than he did about telling us what he was going to do. When you looked at the contrast of Mitt Romney's op-ed piece, he spent more time talking about what he wanted to do than he did, telling us what he didn't like about the president. And that's that stark contrast in what you've seen as far as just an election campaign season. The president spent a lot of time telling us and giving us, as they call them, scare tactics about what's going to happen if the other man wins than he has telling us, what he's going to do. It took him all those months of campaigning, and then after the debates, then he kind of quickly dropped this little 20-page booklet of what he was going to finally do. And it's like, really? And, that got around but didn't get around. But it took all, 3 debates, and then it's like, I guess I got to do something. Here's the 20-page booklet. But, we'll see what happens. We're winding down here. Again, I just want to say thank you to everybody for listening to us. Thank you to the panel for being here. You can find us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. You can find us on Twitter, Real Family Talk. Check out the website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com. Again, as I said at the top of the show, it's been a pleasure, being here for a year. I hope you've enjoyed everything that we've done. We plan to do more as we move into 2013, so be looking out for us. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate everybody in this building for being on this ride with me, and everybody at home, the wife especially, who deals with and loves all of those late nights I spend doing research. She's so excited about that.
Hey, Tasha.
This is WOKB 1680 AM signing off. We'll see you next week. This is Real Family Talk, your host, J. Real.
Indeed.
follow us on Facebook, Real Family Talk. You can follow us on Twitter, Real Family Talk. The website, realfamilytalk.weebly.com.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.